Hi, this is Jay Billis of ESPN, and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
Jeff Idelson is back as president of the Hall of Fame. There's an interim tag to it, but let's bring him into the program. Mike Lindsley with UML Sports Platter, brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College. For every and in life, Bryant and Stratton College. Jeff, welcome back. This is awesome to not only talk with you, but knowing that you're back in Cooperstown here for a little bit. Congratulations are in order, I guess, and how you doing?
I'm doing great, Michael. I think the last time I talked to you, I was in San Francisco,
yes.
But I'm back in Coop, and it couldn't be sweeter.
That's great. Yeah, I should try to make it down there and grab a quick lunch with you. I haven't been to Cooperstown, obviously, with the 2020 situation and Corona and the sadness and disappointment of no induction with Derek Jeter and company getting in. How did this all happen, Jeff?
Well, Tim Mead, who's one of my closest friends in baseball for 35 years and was doing a great job here as president of the Hall of Fame, decided that family issues were important to him and he needed to make an adjustment. He's from the West Coast and has children and grandchildren, and decided that he wanted to go back to California, which was sad because, like I said, he spent a lifetime in baseball, 40 years with the Angels. But by the same token, I was honored to be asked to come back and bridge the gap to a new president because I care deeply and have great respect and admiration for the Hall of Fame family and the institution itself. So when I got a call from Jane Clark and asked me if I could come back and would consider coming back to help, it didn't take me but 2 seconds to say absolutely.
Well, I'm thrilled. We're all thrilled. You know, we all have such admiration and respect for you and the work that you've done, and also an ambassador of the game as well. There's one thing, and I've had multiple media guys on, Kevin Kernan and Scott Petoniak, who sends hellos, by the way, and Matt Michael and all the guys. We're all chomping at the bit because we're media people, but we're also huge fans of the sport, and we're huge Yankee fans, and we are hoping that there is some kind of way to give Derek Jeter his day in the sun. Is there any discussion about that to give this guy the induction that he deserves because of what happened in 2020 at all, Jeff?
Well, for him, Mike, for him, Larry Walker, Ted Simmons, and the family of Marvin Miller, you'd want the same for all of them.
Absolutely.
To deserve that moment in the sun and to have 60 Hall of Famers behind them and a crowd of 80,000 people, but that just isn't going to be possible, and it's not a choice we're making. It's the hand we're dealt because of COVID. So we're constantly looking at state guidelines. We're looking at CDC guidelines. We're following MLB protocols, and safety is our first concern. And following those protocols, we have to make decisions that force us, because of COVID, to do things we wouldn't normally do. And because of that, the ceremony is going to be televised. It'll be carried live on the MLB Network, our broadcast partner for the last decade or so. And it doesn't diminish the specialness for those guys getting inducted, but for us as fans, we're just going to have to come to grips with the fact that we don't have a choice. And getting these guys inducted, having their plaques on the wall, for the rest of the summer, their plaques will be on the wall, and that's going to be the focus in Cooperstown, is to be able to come and see their plaques.
So I totally understand what you're saying. I'm wondering, though, if down the line even, when we're past Corona, like not even 2021, but even 2022 or 2023, is there an opportunity there to just celebrate 2020 in a different year, is what I'm getting at?
Oh yeah, no, of course, losing the celebration is very difficult, and it's hard to look too far ahead to 2022, but things will be so different, as we all know, and I am sure that those guys are going to get the recognition they deserve publicly in 2022. In what form that'll come, I don't know. That's a ways off, and I've only been back here in Cooperstown for 48 hours. But celebrating letting the public embrace and celebrate these guys on careers that are indelible is something that's meaningful and important for the Hall of Fame. We want people to be able to celebrate these guys becoming Hall of Famers.
See, and that's the dedication. 48 hours in Cooperstown, you're already back on a show, and you're on mine, little old me, man. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I know it's an interim tag, and it says, I've read reports, serving through August 15th, but if you get into it again, do you think you'd change your mind?
Michael, I love this place. I've been, here for a long time, 25 years, raised my kids here, my family here, and have nothing but fondness for Cooperstown, the Hall of Fame family, as I mentioned, in the institution. But no, my commitment's through August and helping them bridge the gap. I've got a great program, Grassroots Baseball, which we've talked about in the past, that my partner Gene Fruth and I co-founded a couple of years ago, and that's doing really, really well. In fact, we were just in Commerce, Oklahoma, home of Mickey Mantle, and we did a bunch of shoots with the baseball team, and that's near and dear to my heart. Helping to grow the game at the amateur level and provide opportunity is something that's near and dear to my heart, something I enjoy doing, and something I'll get back to doing when my tenure here is complete.
Jeff Idelson with us here on the ML Sports Platter, brought to you by Stanley Law Offices and Ken's Auto Detailing, again back in the saddle as the president of the Hall of Fame interim until August 15th, and doing great work on Grassroots Baseball. You led me right into asking you, kind of a two-parter here, Jeff. What's the latest on Grassroots? What have you guys been doing as far as planning for the future? And then also, you got to juggle both of these gigs now for a couple months, right? So how are you going to attack that?
Well, the last few months have been great. We just before I arrived in Cooperstown, Gene and I were up in Arizona, Flagstaff, Williams, Winslow, Holbrook, shooting along Route 66. We shot some high school state championship,
awesome.
Some great Little League. We were at Williams High School and shot a doubleheader there where Billy Hatcher went to high school, played for the Reds for many years, and that was an important part of our Route 66 journey. Sometime in June, we're going to get to New Mexico. I'm going to leave here for a few days and go back for the high school championships and to cover baseball in New Mexico for Route 66. And eventually, we are wrapping up our tenure on Route 66 and looking forward to getting back to Puerto Rico, where we left off before COVID came along. And I think we have a book in the works on the amateur game along the Mother Road.
Wow, that's great. Gene's pictures are just, they capture the passion, and the essence of the sport, don't they? They're just so terrific.
Yeah, no, she's got an incredible eye for detail and for emotion and for what makes a great picture. And I'm blessed to be able to work with her, and her work resonates unlike any others I've ever seen.
When you are back, full, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in Cooperstown, where are you going? Where are you going to eat? What are you doing? Are you hitting the old stops?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's great. Everything is open in Cooperstown. We have the mask rule here, which is fine in the municipality, but the city is the village is buzzing. The restaurants are open, and I'm just glad to be back. I've already the 2 days of here, I've already got up and run along the lake in the morning.
Oh yeah,
and I definitely am back home.
Now, do you get speaking of the lake? Because when I've gone to cover the Hall of Fame inductions, I've never driven so early, obviously, where I see a sunrise or anything. I'm sure you've seen it a bunch of times. Do you get up for that still? Do you get up for that lake sunrise to see it and just marvel in it?
Oh yeah, I left my house. I left my room at 5:30 this morning. Put on my kicks and I ran up the lake road, and I had it coming over my right shoulder over the lake, over the Leatherstocking golf course. It's gorgeous. It's Being in San Francisco is incredible. It's a wonderful city. I love living there. But coming back to the country and getting back to nature and the scenery of Cooperstown, how beautiful it is around here, is something I'll never take for granted.
Yeah, I still have to play. I can't believe it being a golfer like I am. I have not played Leatherstocking. I've got to get down there to play that golf course. The views and, oh my goodness, it just looks like one of the spectacular places to play. Jeff Idelson with us here. A couple more for you, Jeff, just kind of around baseball a little bit here. What have you seen the first few months in Major League Baseball? And we've got Albert Pujols changing teams, and we've got, every other day there's a no-hitter. Take it away here on MLB here so far.
Well, it is surprising I guess, to me at least, that baseball continues to have batting averages diminish. I believe the composite batting average of all players is its lowest since 1969 right now, and you think they've had 6 no-hitters already, and we're not even through May. If you count Bumgarner's 7-inning no-hitter, which I do because MLB said their games are 7 innings, so if it's a game, it's a game. But Pujols changing teams was certainly surprising. You wonder if that could happen with Miguel Cabrera. Hopefully, he continues to make some progress there. He's a credit to the game, and I guess I'm surprised the Red Sox have come out as strong as they have. They did reading the Globe every day over the winter. They certainly were pessimistic about the start they might have, and lo and behold, I think they and the Giants have the 2 best records in baseball.
Okay, final one for you. Whoever ends up taking the title of president of the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, what advice do you have for him or her?
Oh, the advice I would have is to enjoy the ride. You're in if you're a fan of the game, as I am, as Tim is being able to have that access and share it with the public is what you need to do, because the Hall of Famers are just this upper echelon of people. They have these great stories, and whoever's in here, I would just say enjoy it. Enjoy Cooperstown. Everything you learn, share, and take this institution to the next level. I
should have asked, what kind of advice would you give that person outside of eating at New York Pizzeria on Chestnut every day? But we love that spot. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, NYP as the locals call it. Yes, yeah. It's a good spot. They're a good pizza place, and that family also has Boca and the Upstate Bar and Grill, so they're a big player in Cooperstown. They mean a lot to the community.
I love it. Jeff Idelson, thank you so much. Awesome to catch up with you. Hopefully I can run into you over the summer somehow, and continued success. Really means a lot that you came on.
This is what you're going to do, Mike. You're going to come down here at 5:30 in the morning one day. You're going to see the sunrise, and we're going to play golf around the sprinklers.
How about that? All right. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
I wanted to spend the rest of the podcast talking about the recent Tony La Russa drama with the Chicago White Sox. And by the way, the ML Sports Platter is presented by Stanley Law Offices, Bryant and Stratton College, and our great friends over at the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group. Log on to vcgtransforms.com today for a professional leadership group to help you both personally and professionally. So, many of you know the story. White Sox manager Tony La Russa was critical of Yermin Mercedes. The Twins threw behind the slugger a night after the home run. And here's the thing. When you hire guys like Tony La Russa, you kind of have to know a few things going in. You know, what you're getting, what you signed up for, how this is going to work. But by the same token, this is beyond, grumpy old man, traditional baseball guy, challenging the analytics, which is fine by me. This is a little bit over the top. I don't know as if I can ever remember a situation where a manager just totally throws his player under the bus, right? Mercedes has had a tremendous year so far as well. He's one of the best players on one of the best teams in the game. The White Sox are in first place in the Central. They very well could run away with this division. because the division really isn't that good. Cleveland, they're in and around 500, but the Tigers are awful. The Twins are terrible. The Royals are terrible. You're playing, that's a lot of games against weak teams, and the White Sox are pretty good anyway to beat really good teams outside the division. I just can't remember a time when a manager, slaughtered his own player that way in the press. And there's a few reasons why this bothers me. Number one is sports are meant to be fun, right? At the end of the day, all of these guys who play big league baseball, they all probably started in Little League. They started in the fields of the Dominican Republic, in the fields of Venezuela, in the fields of Mexico, in the fields of wherever, right? In the United States of America. Some in Japan, right? They started at some point at a young age, in a Little League. We call it Little League or something close to that, of course. And Little League baseball, playing with your buddies, it's meant to be fun. The game shouldn't change from that regard, whether you're 15, 25, 45. Baseball should be fun. Sports should be fun. And so you have a 15-4 game, right? Chicago's up huge in this game. And it's a 3-0 pitch that Mercedes hits out. It was a 47-mile-an-hour pitch over the center field fence. And it was his third hit of the game. And Russa said, quote, "Big mistake. The fact that he's a rookie and excited helps explain why he just was clueless. But now he's got a clue." Okay. Tony La Russa's clueless. This was totally unnecessary for him to rip his player, one of the best on the team, as I mentioned. And listen, A, have fun. B, there's another part to this. Do you know what players have to go through and again, I'm not, feeling bad, crying foul, oh, we need to start a GoFundMe for Major League Baseball players for average salary. That's not what I'm saying. But the way players are controlled in today's day and age, right? Have to go to arbitration. They're under team control for a certain amount of years before they can hit free agency. The owners really have the players by the balls. They really do. Front offices across the board, they have these players under their thumb like no tomorrow. And you know what happens when you go to arbitration if you have that extra 10 points in batting average, that extra 10 RBI, that extra 5 to 10 home runs? You get paid more. And so if I'm Mercedes and I'm up there and I see a freaking infielder in Williams Astudillo, is that how you pronounce his name? If I see him up there, you bet your ass I'm swinging for the fences. You kidding me? You better believe that I'm going at this guy. And I think another thing that's important is Russa. I wondered, I think many of you probably wondered, baseball people, pundits, they wondered, how is he going to respond to the game today? He's been out for so long. How is he going to react to the game today? And part of it is the manager is hired to be the cool dad. Right? Really. That's why Aaron Boone was hired. That's why Alex Cora was hired. He's really good, though. A.J. Hinch in Houston, and then he obviously lost his job because of the sign-stealing scandal. Now he's in Detroit. There are very few, guys cut from the same cloth. La Russa, Joe Madden, Joe Girardi. We don't have the days of Joe Torre, Bobby Cox, La Russa, right? Ron Gardenhire. It's a different world today. It's a different structure. Players are coddled, right? It's analytic driven. And we wondered how Russa would fare in this game now. And I got to say, I mean, his team's playing well. Obviously, they've overcome some injuries. They've gotten some brilliant pitching from different guys at points of the season. You know, Giolito with a hot start, Rodon. You know, they have a really good offense. Abreu's a stud. You know, they lost a couple of big players, obviously, Roberts and Jimenez. But I think, you know, even though they are really good, I don't know if Tony La Russa has had so far a successful season. Luis Robert, no S at the end on that, one of the injuries, and obviously losing Jimenez as well. But this is a good team. But despite the fact that they've had success, I don't think Tony La Russa has had success so far, other than what the record says, because you can't do this sort of thing. You just can't. I could see him ripping a player if he was like really, really in the wrong. Like, you know, an example, let's say, would be a pitcher. Let's say a White Sox pitcher. Let's say Giolito was going up against somebody, you know, on the other team, right? He's pitching to him, and let's say that the two played high school baseball against each other, and Giolito still holds a grudge for something that player did to him, right? Whether he hit him, talked smack, something on the field that happened that was non-baseball related, whatever. Let's just say that was a circumstance, and Giolito still wasn't past his grudge, and he threw the ball directly at his head. Manager wants to come to the podium and say, we really don't have a place for that in the game. We want to keep players safe. I don't like to see that thing. I'm going to have a talk with him. I'm all in on that. But you're up 15-4 against a really bad team with an infielder who's in there, who's throwing softball pitches up to the plate under 50 miles an hour. Swing, get a hit it out of the park. Wouldn't you lick your lips? Wouldn't you have your eyes bugged open? I would. I mean, I just don't understand this whole thing. It's absolutely, it's just garbage. La Russa also was quoted as saying, I took several steps from the dugout onto the field yelling, take, take, take. The way he was set up, it looked to me like he was going to swing. I was upset because that's not a time to swing 3-0. I knew the Twins, let's see here. I knew the Twins knew I was upset. He missed a 3-0 take sign. With that kind of lead, that's just sportsmanship and respect for your opponent. It's so stupid. You're not disrespecting your opponent by swing. What do you just let and by the way, there's some pride here involved. Right? I mean, I don't personally want to be struck out by an infielder. If I'm a really good hitter, right? And Mercedes is just that. I don't want to be struck because, you know, it'll be a little playful in the clubhouse, of course, but that will bother you if you're a competitor. You know, that will bother you. Oh man, remember when I struck out to that no-name infielder who threw me a 47-mile-per-hour meatball? Come on. You know, he was up 3-0 on the count, but who cares? So between the pride, between the competition, between arbitration, between La Russa just being an old, crusty dude, I'm not a fan of what he said. And then he pretty much made matters worse. When the Twins threw behind him, and then La Russa, complimented the Twins for throwing behind him. Are you kidding me? You're promoting unsafety, an unsafe environment. You're saying that you're glad that your player is getting thrown at. What? Who says that? You know, who says that about their guy? It's just total disrespect. And Here's the thing. I don't think it's the same, believe it or not, in baseball as it is in football running up a score. And here's why. The defense always has the ball in baseball. Right? There's that competition, man against man, within the framework of the game. And even if you have a huge lead, you're still competing right there, one against, each other. If you're up by 45 points in the second half, let's say late in the fourth quarter, let's say there's 6 minutes to go, and you have the ball at your own, 15-yard line, and you go 4 wide and just start slinging it to go get another touchdown, that's running up the score, and I could see that being a little bit disrespectful. This is a totally different situation. You don't want to strike out in that spot. You're still competing with someone, even despite it being a blowout. I don't know where Russa is going with this. I think it's absolutely irresponsible for him to not only throw his player under the bus, say he shouldn't have done it, say it was irresponsible, and then to follow it up when it could have been a dead issue, when the Twins, as expected, weren't happy with the 3-0 home run either. Who cares if they weren't happy? You know what? Then don't give up the home run. Then they take matters into their own hands on Tuesday. It was Tyler Duffy who threw behind him when he came to the plate in the 7th inning. Duffy was ejected. Rocco Baldelli, the manager, was ejected for Minnesota. Rocco Baldelli was displeased with the home run. He was dissatisfied. Oh, too bad. You know what? Here's how you can prevent that from happening? First of all, don't get down 15-4. The Twins stink, by the way. But don't get down 15-4, and then don't give up a home run. Even an infielder. Don't throw a home run ball, dude. And then after the loss, Russa did not argue against the Twins' strategy, making it way worse. The situation, he just kept adding on. I wasn't that suspicious. I'm suspicious when someone throws at someone's head, he said. I didn't have a problem with how the Twins handled that. This guy is clueless. He really is. And I think he's out of line by saying this. I really do. I think he's totally out of line. And I think it was a clown move on his part. I think it was embarrassing. I don't know. You should never throw your players under the bus like that. Not a fan of it at all. Really, not a fan of it at all. ML Sports Platter, thank you for listening all over the major platforms. Spotify, Google, Apple, you name it. Stitcher, Deezer, iHeartMusic, Amazon. Go ahead and download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. That stuff does go an awfully long way. Also, wanted to tell you, you can hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports and on Instagram, ML Sports Platter as well. A big time thanks to Axe Exotic Pets, Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, and CNY Electrical. Go ahead and visit them online at cnyelectrical.com. All of your commercial and residential needs, go with CNY Electrical today, cnyelectrical.com. And also a big thanks to our friends over at Western New York OTB. Make sure you get to your local OTBs wherever you live in the great state of New York. And your State Farm agent, Matt Graham. Get a free rate quote today. Find out about Matt's rate drop, and you can get that service by going to SyracuseInsuranceAgent.com. You live in and around central New York or the great state of New York, just get that free rate quote. See if he can help you out with your insurance. Home, bank, life, auto, health, business, like a good neighbor. State Farm and Matt Graham are there. I'm Mike Lindsley. Thanks again for listening. Thanks to Jeff Idelson. It's great to talk to him again. Obviously, he's going to do great things as the interim Hall of Fame president before they do name someone. Please just don't give Rod Manfred that job. Rob Manfred needs to be fired from everything baseball, his commissioner job right now. But Cal Ripken Jr. and a few others have been rumored to maybe take that spot. But Jeff, in the meantime, will handle that, and that job is in very good hands with the former Hall of Fame president, one of the really, really good guys out there. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.